They have, and the one guy you mentioned, Cecil Africa, he's so big for them, and last week they really missed him, and it's key that South Africa, they love playing in London, and they take this tournament out on a regular basis, but it'd be a big one for them to get this win today. But to start off well against Portugal are a good side.
They are indeed, although they've never beaten South Africa, they've had a tremendous season because they were one of the 3 national teams who qualified in Hong Kong to play as core teams next season. So that means they'll play all 10 tournaments. Well, there's the South African lineup. Kyle Brown is still there, but some changes. Jamba Ulengo is a new man. A man who's, I think, been particularly a revelation this season has been Cornel Hendricks, but it's a new combination and not easy. Here's Portugal. Adorito Esteves, well, he's the man who can break the defence of anyone. Pedro Leal, little popcorn, he's the playmaker. And, well, the last time they met was in Tokyo. The score that time was 12 points to South Africa, 7 to Portugal. So this won't be an easy one, I don't think, for South Africa. Although, as Ben, you said, they are very happy playing at Twickenham.
I think so. I think as a team they'd probably be disappointed with their performances last week. Certainly not the style in which Paul Chu likes, but saying that, they're up against a good side here in Portugal, and we spoke earlier about tough teams to play early on. Well, Portugal are one of them, and they'll be looking as the underdogs in this one to try and get one up on South Africa.
The referee from France is Alex Ruiz, and behind him is Branco de Prier. Well, he and Cecil Africa are wonderful combinations, but Africa missing. South Africa versus Portugal. And Portugal, well, they've been quite a handful for many opponents this season. Almeida. Very effective tackling. You can hold the man up, of course, and hold them from releasing the ball, and that's where Chris Dry and Kyle Brown are terrifically effective in that. And so it's a put-in to Branco de Prier.
Crouch!
Little will-o'-the-wisp.
Crouch!
Played centre in
Touch.
the Junior World Cup.
Pause!
Plays
Engage!
scrum half and sevens. Lot on his shoulders in this tournament. Set out wide, nicely done. This is Ulengo, the new man. Oh, it's a lovely handoff. And Jamba Ulengo, who made his debut last week in Glasgow and has taken over from Bernardo Botha with a perfect start.
Yeah, I think South Africa will be happy with this. Simple play off the scrum. Portugal disappointing with their tackles, scrag tackles, trying to grab, use your shoulder. That's frustrating for Portugal because it's not necessary to let those points in, but South Africa will be happy with that, and that's good, strong running and an early start for them.
Shabby defence there, and almost a gift, really. 2 men missing out on Ulengo. Branco de Prier, left-footed from the touchline. Got the calming start that they would have wanted. Not the best drop goal I've seen, attempt. But that was always the specialist of Cecil Africa. Here's Ulengo. This 22-year-old, tall, powerful, plays wing for University of Free State, the Shimlers. De Prier, the restart, perhaps a little bit too far, made it easy take for Portugal. No chance of a challenge by his forwards. This is Adorito Esteves. He's a handful, a bit like Tim Mickelson for New Zealand. Just seems to find it difficult for people to get hold of him. This is Gonçalo Foro. He's been very much a cornerstone of Portugal's effort in 15s as well as in 7s.
Yeah, the Portuguese there have been strong running, but running back into the area which is full up with the South African players, rather than moving them around and stretching the ball, using it to get wide and start playing around with them a bit, because South Africa love to play on the floor. And we spoke about it, their front row are very strong over the ball.
Pause! Engage!
On the 22 in front of the posts. De Prier again. And the switch by Stephen Hunt. This is Ulengo again. Well, it took three men to get him down. Chris Dry, easy. Little shimmy, just a little shell of the ball, and cut easily through the defence. Portugal looking 6 and 7s in defence.
Good decision here from Franco de Pree to go the way of the ball off the scrum, and then good running again by Ulengo just to set it up. But it's quick ruck balls, the difference between the sides at the moment. South Africans get the ball quickly, and Chris Dry jumping on it. Portuguese offside. He knows he can't be tackled. He's seen the space. Good vision.
No problem with that conversion. So South Africa totally on top at the moment, haven't been in their own half yet. You see, I mean, the defence here was slow, wasn't it? The reaction very slow.
Well, they got themselves on the wrong side of the ball and offside position, and you can't play from that area.
Didn't go 10, so free kick on the halfway line for Portugal.
I'd say a bit of a silly error, really. You mentioned the kick-off before. It looked like they were using it as a tactic. Rather than compete in the air, put it downfield and put a hard press on it and keep the Portuguese in their half. But their silly mistake.
Carl Murray, New Zealand-born student at University of Lisbon. Pedro Leal. Offload to Foro. Bit better. Bit go forward this time. Leal again via Foro. Taken by Almeida. Flipped over the top. Leal. Little knock on. There's Pedro Leal. Well, he's been in this heart of this squad for the last 8 seasons. Also played in the World Cup at 15s. Remember that in 2007. As did half a dozen of these players.
Touch.
But there are going to be specialist decisions soon
Engage.
to play the 7s or the 15s now that they're in the core team of the whole of next season. Ulengo again. Well, it's a big chase by Foro. And in fact, the try by Cornel Hendricks. Big chase by Gonzalo Foro, but just couldn't get the man back.
If you watch the Portuguese in defence here, they're all over chasing. There's no reason for Foro to leave that hole for Estevez to try and fill. Hendricks has spotted it, and it's a foot race to the try line, and thought Foro had him for a second, but clever little feat by Hendricks, just move wide and score the try. I think South Africa feeling comfortable at the moment. It's all come off scrum play at the moment.
Well, he's certainly been a great asset to the Springboks this season, Cornel Hendricks. His first tournament was in Port Elizabeth at home, where South Africa made the cup final.
It's a big positive in this game if you can have a guy on your side that's able to break one tackle and run it in for almost full length. Makes 7s easy.
Very comfortable start. Hooter sounds after the 7 minutes, 19 points to 0. And Paul True will be pretty happy with that. Portugal are no soft touch. And this could be another. Ulengo this time goes right on the outside, on the flank. Well, he's made quite a mark, having taken over from Bernardo Botha, the 22-year-old. And he and Cornel Hendricks, very dominant in this first half.
Yeah, simple rugby. Great take back off the restart. I think it actually stole it off the Portuguese, but simple hands, simple finish. Jaw and pass. It's as easy as that. And I like the way there looks like a lot more energy to the South African side at the moment.
Well, I know they had a sort of a heart-to-heart after Glasgow when they really fell apart after the Cup quarter-final when they lost to England by 1 try. then just didn't have the heart to produce anything in the plate semi-final, and were absolutely hammered by Samoa. But this is a turnaround and a very happy first half with 24 points to 0 at the break.
Just tell Chris. Because Chris is going on the overs line now, past that part, that caught the ball. So Chris, jy moet voor die ouens wees. As 'n groot gang jy hom jam. Okay, so draai te diep is Karl, so skiet te diep is gaan ek line join and run through line with the jam.
Listen, let's keep catching there, right? We're going to keep trying to step in between and offload. Somebody on the waist, somebody on the ball. Simple stuff, right? Simple stuff in the jab. Listen, stick into the
Fred, ficas a pilar. Tá? O Duarte vai para tonador. Martim mantém-se a pilar. Kiko, formação. Miranda, abertura. Kiko, assento.
Frederico
e Carl
Sousa.
na ponta. Está bem? Ouçam. Nós não cumprimos aquilo que definimos. Começamos com cruzamento,
Just
quando era
sense
uma
in a way that
diabólica,
Portugal
os
have
outros
sort
gajos
of
contavam
achieved what they wanted this season, and
tivemos
maybe,
apertados,
you know,
dissemos para
a bit
sair ao pé,
jaded
não fizemos
after
nada disso.
the fact, of course, that they don't play full-time sevens. The fitness levels show more and more as the season goes on.
They do, and it's an interesting one that playing back-to-back tournaments is something that they're not so used to, and you know, you just mentioned it with the South Africans in the fact that they've had to go home and pick themselves up from last weekend. It's all about the psychology of this sport, which is very interesting, because you know you can hit rock bottom one weekend and be on the top of the world the second weekend. It's all about how you respond to that. So far, you look at the teams out here, and South Africa have responded well, and they said, you know, last tournament, let's just go and throw it out there. Portugal, they do look a bit tired. They had a big week last week, but it'd be really good for them if they could back it up.
Well, they'll be thinking about pride here for this second half. Portugal, their captain there, Frederico Oliveira, with the head guard.
Okay, thanks.
Bit of an extended half-time. Diogo Miranda starts it. Portugal trailing 0-24. Branco de Pria. This is Frankie Horn. And he's been just about an ever-present in the last 5 years. Tidy pass too. Quality scrum half play by Horn. And just to emphasise, I mean, this is really is a big pickup. I just went forward to Chris Dry, but it has been recuperation quite remarkably, given that, you know, it's only 5 of the team that were in the squad that won this title last year, and they've had late changes. They've got Neil Powell in, and experienced, but who's not really been in the squad, and an 18-year-old on the bench, Chesley Colby, who's come in. So a lot of changes, a lot of difficulties for Paul True this season.
Yeah, it has been, and missing key players is a big part of it, because they work well together. But what's good for him also is that he does have a big squad, and they've trained full-time together back in South Africa. So one man drops out, he's hoping that they've been training, they're up to speed, they can fit straight in.
And it's not only been the injuries that have absency, but also the Junior World Cup is coming up, and that's going to be in Cape Town.
Engage.
And in Stellenbosch, and a couple of his teams like William Small-Smith are now working with the 15-a-side junior Springboks as that builds up in June. There's Branco de Pria. He was really made his name as an under-20 player in the Junior World Cup in Argentina, in Rosario. It's a lovely break here. Very good work. Stephen Hunt all the way. Well, that's the role of a wing three-quarter. Recalled this season, and a player who made his name at Stellenbosch University and the great famous school of rugby, Grey High School in Port Elizabeth.
Well, they're often known for being very, very good at the penalty play, and here was a case of a simple switch and the hole opened up with the likes of Chris Hunt on the outside to take his opportunity. And straight off the training paddock, that looked like. They work hard at it and they've nailed it that time. It's often actually off the penalty. I used to enjoy it because you look up and you think, right, where are the weak links in the chain? Because it doesn't often happen like that, and you say, right, well, let's pick on them. And you hope that your teammates are spotting the same thing so that really you can work together and pick on that one person and open up that hole.
And if Portugal lack something, I think it's particularly, they haven't got excessive speed, have they, to match that kind of run?
No, they haven't, you know, and years gone by, South Africa have had an abundance of it.
Magalhaes pirouetting is Carl Murray. Carl Murray, another of the university students in Lisbon. Man and ball, bit of a red cross pass, that one for Miranda. Could be turnover here, I think it is. Springboks.
Plenty of space on the right now if they can get it back.
They're happy to have had the advantage there, I think. And that's Neil Powell. Well, he was captain and has been a very big influence. Played over 30 tournaments. Frankie Horn. Well, it's so many gaps in the defence, it's rather like a sieve, isn't it? And Portugal just looking out on their feet.
Putting pressure on themselves. I mean, this play came from the Portuguese attack to start with, and no need for a missed pass. He set his teammate up, and it was strong defence from the South Africans. Good turnover ball, and Frankie Horn then just spotting the differences in the defence and taking his opportunity. Not the quickest guy as well, so good finish from Frankie Horn.
Usually comes up with a try or two in a tournament. Had a couple up in Glasgow last week. One of those who was in the side in the Rugby World Cup Sevens, 2009 in Dubai.
Time off.
So it's over 30 points now. Well, it's not going to be an easy day for Portugal. They've got Australia up next. Quickly into the hands of Engelbrecht, and this is just too easy. Stephen Hunt finds himself in the right place, gets another. Well, the dam is wide open.
Yeah, good kick-off execution there from South Africa, putting pressure on the jumper, and although they didn't take it clean, sensible in it, they send another man behind the ball in case the Portuguese knock it on, which they did in this case. It's a simple pick-up and pass out wide that all the Portuguese players are on the other side of the field.
Well, I thought it might be a lot more close than this. 12-7 was the last time they met, when South Africa won. And that was in Tokyo in end of March. But this is a different story. A disappointing one for Portugal. But very comfortable, as you said at the start. South Africa like playing here, and they certainly started off on the right foot.
Absolutely, and what they've done brilliantly in this game is they've controlled the ball well, and the Portuguese just haven't been able to play with it.
Not quite the 10 metres. So looking for a little bit of consolation here, Portugal, with only 20 seconds to go. And they're 41-0 down. That's the biggest defeat they've had against South Africa in their 15 meetings. This is the 16th. Duarte Moreira from the Belenenses Club, one of the top clubs based in Lisbon. And it will be in the Algarve that the European Rugby World Cup Sevens qualifier tournament takes place in July 20th, 21st, I think. Magalhaes switching with Betancourt.
Assist!
He's a bit up north from Lisbon at Porto. Magalhaes Can they get some consolation at the last gasp? Betancourt.
No hands!
Better continuity here from Portugal. It's still taking too much ball to contact on a one-on-one basis and getting themselves isolated. So the ball's not coming quite as quickly as they'd hoped, and unlucky not to finish with a try, but really not pushing the South Africans too much there.
Yeah, gives you something at the end, but not this time for Portugal. Disappointment from them, but very comfortable. South Africa, they'll be very happy with their new structure and their new lineup in the personnel. And half-time, 41, full-time, 41-0.
The only skipping behind it in the 70s.